We voted for them.
Yeah.
We wore the hats, knocked doors, all of it. Now they cut off the SNAP card like it don't matter.
Groceries are already sky high. We can't keep the fridge full without that help.
And the president just keeps quiet like it's...
Tomorrow I'm heading to the food bank and then to the plant to see if they're hiring extra shifts. We can't just sit here.
I'll call the church. Maybe they can help us cover the electric bill till we get back on our feet.
It shouldn't have to be this way. They promised that.
So who's really on SNAP? Food stamps. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Well, whatever you're thinking, you might be wrong. 42 million Americans could lose their grocery money on this Friday. Now, think about it this way. There's 348 million Americans, and about 42 million Americans are on SNAP, and that's about 12% of our population. About 1 in 8 Americans use SNAP benefits. Let's take a look at who they are.
Because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps. 42% of Somali immigrants. 34% of every immigrant from Iraq. 23% of Haitians. 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps. Meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans.
Everything you thought you knew about food stamps is about to get flipped upside down. What happens when millions of Americans discover they've been lied to about who really depends on government assistance? Let's find out.
So I'm seeing this clip floating around about how illegal immigrants are taking majority of the SNAP program, the food program benefits, and that is so not true. And like I said before, I'm a numbers person. So immediately when they just start dispelling out all of these percentages of these benefits that these different groups, the Afghans, the Haitians, and the Somalians, and the Iraqis were receiving, there's one thing that you are missing to add context, and that is the population of these people that are in the U.S. And then I looked it up, and Afghans only make up about 0.08% of the population. Haitians make up about 0.37% of the population. Iraqis and Somalians, they only make up 0.05%. So each of these groups make up less than 1% of the population. Now, when you apply the percentage of the SNAP benefits according to their population that they are receiving, because I did the calculation already, total group of those make up less than 500,000 people that are receiving SNAP benefits out of 42 million. So that little news clip that they're floating around, those people are actually refugees. They're over here for asylum, which they are eligible to receive benefits. But they have that narrative just running on the right. Why? Because they want y'all to be emotionally charged about all of this. Same thing for the left. They're pointing fingers at the right because they want the left to be emotionally charged. And you know who's getting played? We the people are. Now, I also took the liberty to look at some other numbers. I'm a numbers person. So 89% of U.S. born citizens are the ones that receive SNAP. Also, children, 39% of the 42 million that receive SNAP benefits are children. 20% is the elderly, that's over 60 plus years old. And then you have 10% of the adults that are disabled that also receive. So 70% of the SNAP participants are children, elderly, and disabled. Now, the other 30% are individuals that are able-bodied without disabilities that can work. But if you don't remember, there was a law that was passed earlier this year, the Big Beautiful Bill, required them to work in order to continue to receive their benefits. Now, let's also get this out the way too. Ethnicity. 35% of SNAP participants are white. That's who receive food stamps. They're white. 26% are black. And then you have Hispanics, which only makes up about 16%. And then the others are less than that. They make up the rest of the percentage. You do the math. So just remember, while we're out here fighting amongst ourselves, where people are being laid off left and right, these Democrats are keeping the shutdown going, while the Republicans are putting out here misconceptions, and they are still getting paid. Both left and right are still receiving their paycheck. $174,000 annual salary is what they're getting paid, while you have air traffic controllers, TSA workers, government contract workers, federal workers, all of them are not getting paid. And also our Army. And let's also dispel this while we're at it. The $130 million donation, which if y'all want to call that generous, I don't like it because I think that private corporations should stay out of our government because it emanates this type of control and power. But I digress. That's a whole nother conversation. But let's do the math on that as well. There are 1.3 million service members. $130 million that's being donated to them. They only get $100 a piece. That's the math on that. $100 for a household of groceries for the month is nothing.
Here's the number that broke the internet. White Americans make up 35 to 37% of all SNAP recipients, the largest group by far. And people are shook. Let's hear their reactions.
So I'm sitting up here looking at the news, and we're seeing now who's really being affected by the SNAP program. The people that voted for this orange turd that thought that they would never be affected, they thought that this man would always watch after them. No, they're the ones on the news at the food pantry. They're the ones on the news standing in line. They're the ones on the news being interviewed saying how much they got left on their card and how their food is running out. I think the next time y'all will take and vote for the right reason and not for racism, because right now the only ones that's supporting this man is those that are racist. Because if you don't see what's going on now, which is he doesn't give a damn about you, nor do our administration give a damn about you, I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, we see now it's not only the brown and black, it's the white folks that's being affected.
Starting November 1st, new work requirements kick in. No job, no benefits, and millions are about to feel it. Here's what people are saying.
You, the person watching this, are most likely a lot closer to needing SNAP benefits than you are to being a billionaire. So why are some of you so dead set on defending billionaires for the decisions that are taking food off of millions of people's tables starting on November 1st? Food is not a privilege. It is a right. And I don't care what you want to say to that. That is just a fact. We need food to live. Period. And for you to sit on your high horse and tell people whose only way to feed their families is benefits, that they're doing it wrong, that they're not spending on the right thing, that they should only have the right to spend it on certain things, etc., is just fucking stupid.
Now, how much y'all want to bet that this bitch-ass buffoon in the White House is going to release SNAP benefits one day next week? I'm betting on Monday, but one day next week. He's done all of this because he loves to create a problem, blame it on the Democrats, and then say that he miraculously solved it. He's using food and insecurities about food as a political pawn and as a way to keep everybody on TikTok and IG going back and forth at each other about who deserves to fucking eat, when in actuality, they never had to be canceled in the first place, regardless if the shutdown was because of Democrats, Republican, or Jesus himself. The way that the shutdown laws are written, the SNAP benefits never had to be denied. So all of this is for naught. It's just a way to keep the combatedness between Democrats, Republicans, rich, poor, whatever, going back and forth, only for him to turn around and release them and make it seem like he somehow saved the day. Watch what I tell you. And when it happens, I want you to report back here and tell me I was right. All right.
Plot twist. A lot of people didn't even know SNAP, EBT, and food stamps are the same program. Remember the Obamacare confusion? History's repeating itself.
Oh, what's this? Half of the country has just sued the Trump administration over withholding SNAP benefits. Yeah, 24 states and Washington, D.C. have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for withholding SNAP benefits, which are designed not to fail during a government shutdown. Here's a list of every state, including the District of Columbia, that has signed on to this lawsuit. You can pause to read or take a snapshot. In addition to that, 2 states have already declared a state of emergency. Overnight, the governor of Rhode Island declared a state of emergency over losing SNAP benefits. About 10% of the state's population gets SNAP benefits in one form or another. We only have a little over 1 million people, and just over 100,000 qualify and receive benefits in this state. The governor of Virginia, a Republican, also declared a state of emergency all the way back on October 23rd, and we've already heard about Gavin Newsom calling up the California National Guard to assist with food banks. This is going to get ugly, not only for the people of the United States, those who are going to be missing out on their benefits and going hungry, but it's going to get ugly for the administration too, because this lawsuit, half of the country is coming after it.
Here's the kicker. The states getting hit hardest are red states: Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, rural America. The people who voted for these cuts are the ones losing the most.
When you got the whole team helping, no EBT.
They got the baby. You got fruit though.
Open the door!
Y'all, ever since this EBT cut, people are like getting online talking about how they're just gonna have to resort to stealing just to feed their children. And like literally the first thing I thought about was like, y'all niggas been stealing. So how is it now that we have an EBT cut, this is your reason for stealing? So what was the reason before? Y'all niggas been boosting shoplifting and robbing stores since way before anybody was even considering cutting EBTs. And I said this on Facebook and y'all was like, oh, be specific. Who you talking about? Who you talking about? Y'all. Stop deflecting from the point of the conversation by bringing up who. That's not everybody. If the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. But the issue still needs to be discussed. There's a difference between doing something out of survival and then chaos. There's a difference between someone sneaking and stealing a loaf of bread, some noodles, some eggs that they can feed their kids, and then people running out of stores with shit, laughing, kiki and ha-ha like it's cute and funny, and then recording it. And this is things that we see all the time on social media, but we never want to actually discuss. Every time we bring up the topic, it's, oh, well, white people steal too, white people steal too, white people steal too. Newsflash, niggas, y'all are not white. You guys don't want to admit that a lot of people in the black community, we are addicted to dysfunction, like extreme. And the sad part about it is EBT cuts isn't necessarily y'all's reason for wanting to steal. It's just the excuse that you're using because it's what's popping up right now. And this is how our community gets punished, because you have people who are actually struggling and then people who use that struggle excuse as their excuse to do nigga shit. It's all just nigga shit. So it's hard to determine who's actually struggling and doing things out of survival when you see a whole bunch of people doing nigga shit. You guys are using this EBT cut as a way to seek thrill and go out and steal just because, oh, they took food out of our mouth, we might as well go and take it back, to the point that you're making this less credible for people who actually need it within our community. It's been our people all the time. Some of our biggest enemies look just like us.
About 2 months ago, I stopped eating dinner almost every night of the week so that my boyfriend and I could have enough food left over to have lunch the next day. This was before we were about to lose our food stamps. Mind you, we both work.
I don't think that we really realize the depths that this is, the damage that this is going to do. But the mothers, especially, were going to go without meals. So they're...
One thing I love about this Trump administration, he didn't debunked all the stereotypes that used to be like black welfare queens, but they dropped black real quick. They just say welfare queens, because what you talking about? You white tee with a white tee boyfriend and y'all still receiving SNAP. What you talking about? You a white woman with 6 kids. What happened to have as many kids that you could afford? You should only have as many kids as you could afford. I guess it only applied to a certain race. But look, all this is coming out now. All of this is coming out now. Cat Williams said 2025 will be the year of truth. Man, he's a prophet. But once again, Donald Trump then debunked all these stereotypes. Because what you talking about? You a white tee woman with a white tee boyfriend and y'all receiving SNAP? You a white tee woman with 6 kids? What happened to your people telling you you should only have as many kids as you could afford? Now, nobody should go hungry. You know, I don't wish that on nobody, but I'm just here to say, hey, these stereotypes, yeah, they're debunked because everybody receiving SNAP in this.
Even if you're not on SNAP, these cuts will hit you. Less money in local economies, struggling businesses, higher costs elsewhere. Nobody escapes this. So there you have it, the truth about who really depends on SNAP benefits in America, and what happens when the safety net gets yanked away. The question is, Will this be the wake-up call people needed? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to see this. Thanks for watching.